Imagine landing at an airport on a bright summer morning, surrounded by travelers lugging bags, sipping coffee, and checking their flights. Airports are supposed to be routine, almost mechanical places. But what if, in one of these terminals, an ordinary young man vanished into thin air, never to be found again? This is not a movie plot, this is real life. And the name that still echoes like an unsolved riddle is Lars Mittank. Lars was not a celebrity, not a politician, and not even someone particularly famous in his life. He was, by all accounts, an ordinary 28-year-old German man who loved soccer, worked a steady job, and had friends like anyone else. But in July of 2014, during what should have been a carefree summer vacation with friends along the Bulgarian coastline, Lars walked into the storybooks of modern mystery. His case is now one of the most terrifying and haunting disappearances ever caught on CCTV, replayed millions of times across YouTube, documentaries, and mystery forums. And yet, almost a decade later, no one knows where he is. What makes this story so chilling is not only the fact that Lars disappeared the way he did. People go missing every day. But Lars's vanishing happened in a place where every inch is monitored by security cameras, with thousands of eyewitnesses walking by. Airports aren't where mysteries are born, they're where mysteries unravel. But in this story, the opposite happened. And it begins, as many tragedies do, with a holiday gone wrong. In early July 2014, Lars and a group of friends traveled from Germany to Golden Sands, a popular resort town on the Bulgarian coast. But for Lars, the trip would quickly spiral. During one of their nights out, Lars was allegedly involved in a fight. Some versions say it was over soccer. Lars was a fan of Werder Bremen, and he argued with rival fans of Bayern Munich. Whatever the exact trigger, Lars ended up with a painful injury to his ear. Doctors later said he had a ruptured eardrum, a seemingly minor injury that would end up chaining him to a decision that forever changed his life. Here's where the tension starts to thicken. Because of his ear injury, doctors advised Lars not to fly home with his friends. Air pressure in the cabin could worsen his condition, even cause permanent damage. His friends, assuming he was safe, boarded their flight back to Germany. Lars checked into a cheap hotel and stayed behind, alone, in a foreign country, waiting until he was healed enough to fly. It should have been a minor inconvenience, an extra few days of recovery. But instead, it marked the beginning of his terrifying unraveling. At first, Lars texted his mother, Sandra, updates. He was calm, rational. He explained the situation, reassured her it was okay. But within 24 hours, his tone completely shifted. Suddenly, Lars sent messages that alarmed her. He told her that he felt unsafe, that he thought people were after him. He suggested he was being followed. And in a call from his hotel room, with whispered panic in his voice, Lars warned his mother not to trust anyone. Imagine being a parent and hearing your child, alone in a strange country, gripped by invisible threats. Were these fears real, or the first signs of paranoia? We still don't know. Adding to the strangeness, hotel employees later recalled that Lars was behaving erratically before he left. He was pacing around, acting scared, and at one point, he abruptly left the hotel in the middle of the night without his belongings, claiming he needed to escape. Witnesses even said he hid in bushes outside, seeming paranoid about being chased. This wasn't the picture of a calm tourist with an ear infection. This was someone spiraling into fear, but fear of what or whom? Despite the paranoia, Lars eventually made his way to Varna Airport on July 8, 2014. prepared to finally head back to Germany. This should have been the resolution. He checked in, carrying his small black backpack, prepared for the flight. Yet fate had one final twist. Before boarding, Lars visited the airport doctor for a final check of his ear. It was standard procedure. Doctors needed to confirm he was fit to fly. And here inside that sterile little medical room, Lars's story takes its most disturbing turn. Witnesses recount that while speaking with the doctor, Lars suddenly panicked. His behavior shifted from tense to absolutely frantic. He claimed that men were after him, whispered about needing to escape, and then, without warning, bolted. He didn't just walk out of the doctor's office, he sprinted, and security cameras captured every chilling second. In the now famous CCTV footage, Lars is seen rushing down the airport corridor, clutching his backpack. His face looks wide-eyed, terrified, as if running for his life. He bursts through the sliding glass doors of the terminal, darts across the parking lot, and then vanishes into a line of trees by the highway. Those images, burned into public memory, are the last confirmed sight of him. After that, Lars Mittank was gone. No one has ever seen him since. Take a moment to let that sink in. Airports are the most controlled, surveilled environments on the planet. Cameras cover every angle. Security guards roam every floor. And yet, Lars evaporated into thin air. How can a 28-year-old man with no criminal record and no apparent plan outrun not only pursuers, but also the grasp of modern surveillance? His disappearance has baffled everyone: police, journalists, internet detectives, and the theories are as unsettling as the footage itself. One theory is that Lars suffered drug-induced paranoia. Some claim he may have been slipped something at a bar that triggered delusions. Others point to the antibiotics he had taken for his ear infection. The medication, when mixed with alcohol, can cause strange psychological side effects in rare cases. Could his unraveling have been pharmaceutical, a chemical betrayal of his mind? If so, how far can chemistry push a man before it convinces him to vanish like a ghost? Another theory suggests foul play. After all, if his fight at the resort was with dangerous individuals, perhaps they wanted revenge. Was he actually being followed? Some people believe that Lars' panic wasn't irrational at all, that he was genuinely in danger, trying to escape shadowy pursuers. If so, did they finally catch him after he fled the airport? And then there's the theory that chills even seasoned investigators: the possibility of an undiagnosed mental health crisis. Psychologists analyzing his case wonder if Lars may have suffered a sudden psychotic break, potentially brought on by stress, medication, or even a pre-existing condition that had never surfaced before. Illusions, voices, paranoia, fitting the signs of a psychosis that tragically flared up in the worst possible place. If this is true, Lars may have fled into the countryside, disoriented, and perished alone. Yet, no body has ever been found. And without that, this theory remains just as unanswered as the rest. The haunting detail is that his disappearance didn't happen quietly. It happened with cameras rolling. Millions have since obsessed over that CCTV recording. People scrutinize every frame, the way his eyes dart, the way he clutches his bag, the sheer desperation in his sprint through those glass doors. You can't fake fear like that. Something inside Lars convinced him that escape was the only option, and for reasons no one on Earth has explained, that escape continues to this very day. Years later, Occasional tips have poured in. Some say Lars was seen wandering in rural areas of Bulgaria. Others claim sightings in other countries, but none have been confirmed. His mother has never stopped searching. In interviews, she clings to the hope her son is still alive, somewhere, suffering from memory loss or hiding from demons no one else can see. It is this aching absence, the lack of closure, that makes the Lars Mittank case so unbearable. For many, it's no longer just one family's tragedy. It's a modern ghost story, haunting the collective imagination. Think about it. One moment, you're sitting in an airport waiting room, annoyed at the price of sandwiches, checking your phone. The next moment, a stranger brushes past you, running as if chased by invisible predators. You barely notice, maybe wonder, briefly, if he's late for his flight. But in this story, that stranger never returns. He becomes a headline, a mystery, a piece of chilling footage, replayed forever. The disappearance of Lars Mittank is more than an unsolved case. It forces us to confront something primal, the fear of vanishing, the terror of being trapped in a nightmare that no one else understands. Was he a victim of crime? A casualty of his own mind? Or perhaps something even stranger, something that sits forever between explanation and enigma, until evidence is found, until there's closure for his family. The world is left with that haunting airport footage, frozen in time. So the next time you step into an airport terminal, pause, look at the faces around you. Everyone is moving, boarding, flying, arriving. Lives cross for a moment and then scatter across the globe. But hidden in one of these ordinary faces could be a man with extraordinary secrets, someone carrying fears invisible to everyone else. Someone like Lars Mittank, the man who walked out of an airport, never to return. And that's why his case still grips us. Because in a world of cameras, crowds, and constant surveillance, Lars managed to show us that it's still possible to disappear into nothing but questions. And questions, after all, are scarier than answers.